Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Heavyweights of the Faith, brief biographies of great believers who changed the world.
William Franklin Graham Jr., or Billy, was born on November 7, 1918, in a small town outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, and grew up on his family dairy farm. His family believed in strict observance of moral values, but also took time to laugh at his father's many jokes. The Grahams instilled a strong work ethic in their children. Often, their Big Ben alarm clock woke them at 2:30 a.m. to work the farm. Billy's job was to milk 20 cows every morning and afternoon. Billy said he finally came to understand his need for a personal relationship with Jesus at Mordecai Fowler Ham's evangelistic meetings. He felt that the Graham family's consistent Bible reading, prayer, and church attendance was valuable, but he still felt empty inside, restless and resentful of all the work he was doing to earn his way to heaven. Near his 16th birthday in 1934, Billy went forward at a Dr. Ham meeting and committed his life to Christ. After his conversion, Billy wanted to go to church as much as possible and admittedly even began to sing hymns while milking the cows. Billy's heart was completely surrendered to Jesus Christ at that point, and the foundation was laid for his future ministry to people around the world. Billy was accepted into Bob Jones College in 1936. Soon after, however, he found it was too strict, and in January of 1937, he transferred to Florida Bible Institute, now Trinity College, where he was exposed to many different denominations through the people who rented rooms in the hotel complex on campus. It was there that Billy experienced the unity of God's people who sincerely held Jesus at the center of their hearts and lives. While a student, Billy was asked to preach for the first time as a last-minute request. Billy only knew 4 borrowed sermons at the time, which he preached in 8 minutes before returning to his seat. But after that experience, he had a feeling that he was being called by God to preach the gospel. Billy practiced preaching to alligators, birds, and trees, honing his sermons in preparation of additional opportunities to preach. Still, he struggled to surrender his will to God's will. He wasn't sure he was thrilled at the thought of preaching for the rest of his life. One night in 1938, however, while taking one of his many nighttime walks, Billy got down on his knees and prayed, "Oh God, if you want me to serve you, I will." From that night on, Billy's life purpose was set. Billy met Ruth Bell while at Wheaton College in Illinois. They both graduated in the same class in June of 1943. They married on August 13, 1943. Though Billy traveled often, leaving Ruth to raise their children, he always felt that he had her unquestionable support. She was his closest confidant, and Billy credits Ruth's wise spiritual counsel as being the advice he valued most. In 1955, Billy wrote, "Your advice has been the only one I can really trust. You have no idea how often I have listened to your advice, and it has been as if it were spoken from the Lord." Though early crusades were up and down, and some were even considered flops, Billy contended that they could never know everything God was up to, though it was not evident to them or to the world. In addition to crusades, despite extreme guerrilla threats, Billy traveled with Grady Wilson and Bob Pierce, founder of World Vision, to Japan and Korea during the Korean War for 2 weeks under military supervision. While there, Billy preached the gospel to GIs, missionaries, and the Korean people, and encouraged wounded American soldiers at various hospitals near the front line. At age 35, Billy preached his first international crusade in London, England, beginning March 1, 1954. And by the end, he had spoken to 2 million people, delivering 72 major addresses in 12 weeks. Thousands of decisions were made for Jesus Christ during this 3-month period. Why were the London Crusade and many others so successful? Billy and his crusade team gave all the credit to God and to the hundreds of people praying faithfully 24 hours a day for each crusade, beginning months in advance. Risking his life on small planes and at various crusade events in nearly a dozen African countries and the Middle East, Billy preached from January to March, 1960 in 25 cities and 75 villages with a consistent message: following Christ is the only way to lasting peace. The largest crusade audience in the history of Billy's ministry assembled in Seoul, Korea in 1973. Even Billy was amazed as more than 1 million people gathered to hear his famous evangelistic messages. Since 1977, he has preached in virtually every country of the former Eastern Bloc, including the former Soviet Union. Though he tried to remain uninvolved in politics, Billy was befriended by several presidents and international leaders at times when U.S. relations were strained. Around the world, Billy was honored as a man of peace who walked close to God, and his wisdom and advice were held in high esteem. Ruth Graham Bell passed away in 2007, leaving behind Billy, 5 children, 3 sons and 2 daughters, 19 grandchildren, and numerous great-grandchildren. All 5 of Billy and Ruth's children serve actively in various ministry capacities throughout the world. Reverend Billy Graham died on February 21, 2018, at the age of 99. His funeral service was held outside the Billy Graham Library in Charlotte, North Carolina on March 2, 2018. His final book, published in 2015 by W Publishing Group, an imprint of Thomas Nelson, is titled Where I Am: Heaven, Eternity, and Our Life Beyond. During his life as an evangelist, Billy preached at national and international crusades, reaching more than 215 million people in person, and millions more through radio, television, film, and webcasts.
Special thanks to Inspirational Christians for use of their written biographies. Please visit inspirationalchristians.org for more biographies and articles.